When all these other hero shooters started emerging, we had our character-based Titans already. We're like, oh, what? You know, like, oh no. Not that it really matters, but I think everyone's kind of realizing that the anyone can do anything approach has limitations.
It seems to be the trend these days. Instead of weapon loadouts or archetypical classes, shooters place the focus on heroes, characters with distinct personalities and ability sets of their own. There's Overwatch, Battleborn, and Lawbreakers, and now there's Titanfall 2. Respawn Entertainment's sequel isn't that much of a far cry from its predecessor. The core gameplay loop between pilots and their Titans remains, as players fight enemy humans, build their Titanfall meter, and call in their hulking behemoths from orbiting spaceships.
Stand by for Titanfall.
But the Titans themselves are more distinct this time around. They're almost like mechanical superheroes, with abilities lending each of them a distinct signature.
The fact that we have Titans as well, that gives us a little flexibility to be able to try one system on one side and another system on the other side. So we took the character part and put that into the Titans to sort of bring them out, give them their own roles and their own playstyles.
There's Ion with its shoulder-mounted laser turret and chest-firing particle cannon.
Ion laser core activated.
There's Scorch with its gas mines and flame-powered grenade launcher.
Flame core activated.
Then there's Ronin, a veritable robotic Jedi with a titanium sword and phase-warping powers to boot. Not only do these abilities lend character to their machines, but also another layer of strategy.
Critical damage. Tripwire may be useful to deter threats.
If you see a Ronin rounding the corner, it's best to keep your distance. If Ion sets its sights on you, it's probably best to close the gap. Titanfall 2 feels just as fluid as its predecessor did in 2014, but there's more forethought involved this time, and planning is paramount in the sequel.
Titanfall 1 was a game you were often reacting to what was happening to you, and not much opportunity to make choices, anticipate, try out theories. We had to try and take this really frenetic game and make it learnable.
The easy comparisons are Overwatch and Battleborn, titles that live or die by the quality of their characters and the interactions between them. But there are deeper inspirations at play.
Good win.
Respawn co-founder Vince Zampella mentioned Street Fighter as an influence on Titanfall 2's new combat. Learning characters is not only pivotal for using them, but knowing how to counter them as well. Outside of the characters themselves, Titanfall 2's pacing is also taking on a more methodical approach. During a recent demo, director Steve Fukuda pointed to the first Titanfall's pacing as one of the weak points of the shooter.
The game, as a result, the game takes a more of a different kind of pacing, a more varied pacing, and definitely some areas where things are quieter, as you might have noticed. It's not cranked to 11 all the time. It's more highs and lows than, I think, past projects.
Warning, enemy pilot attacking.
Much like the necessary patience of a hero shooter, though, Titanfall 2 will have down periods, giving you a chance to plan out your moves before actually executing them. Lastly, as multiplayer designer Todd Alderman says, Respawn wants players to be more proactive this time around.
Just from all angles, we wanted to encourage more teamwork and more thinking ahead, like things that players can make decision points on and strategize around, and sort of drive you to stick with your teammates.
So although comparisons abound to other modern shooters, the team at Respawn sounds confident that Titanfall 2 will deliver an altogether different experience than its predecessor, not only in core pillars of combat, but pacing, planning, and execution as well. Titanfall 2 may be a sequel, but Respawn seems intent on making it a beast of its own.
And as developers, as a development industry, we're trying to move everything forward, and we're all trying to solve a lot of the same problems. And it's really awesome to see how every studio is kind of tackling it in their own little way. But I think it's a response to, we kind of nailed that everyman game over the last 10 years. Now let's solve new problems.
Enemy pilot has ejected. Enemy pilot destroyed.